Hello, everyone. My name is Gold, and I am welcoming you back to this special edition of the Raw and Real podcast. On this episode, I have with me Nini, Benny, and George. We are not unaware of the current economic situations and the unrest in the country. Aggrieved Nigerians have opted for a protest as the only reconciliatory medium between worsening conditions of life and biased governmental policies. So we are asking on this episode, a protest or a dialogue, what is best for Nigeria? So I'd love to throw it open to the floor to have our views.
So far, I believe Nigerians or the citizens actually have spoken enough or have cried enough for reforming the government. So the protest for me is actually the only way possible that the Nigerian government can, listen to what the people have to say. Because I think even when we started the endsars of 2020, not too long ago, the protest was actually what brought about the end of the SARS. Although they reformed it into another police rank, but I think I've forgotten. But the NSAS, it has reduced drastically because it affected the youths and mostly how would I say? Yeah, the youths and people that were even innocent because there's a way that they profiled you, the way you dressed and all. So protest for me is actually the only dialogue that we need to talk about now. If they can't hear our voices, maybe the actions will speak for us.
I'd say it's been way long overdue for this protest. I mean, this administration has been in power for just a year. And in this 1 year, things have changed dramatically. Everything is going downhill. 90% of things are bad everywhere. And Nigerians have been crying for a very long time now. That's also part of dialogue. If this administration cared, they would have answered to us a long time ago. So the protest now is just as a result of not being heard by its people. Nigerians need help. And this administration, the way it's going, we're just getting started. They are just getting started with us. This is not even the beginning. So for me, protest is the best.
Yeah, I think this is day three, but day three of the, yeah. So if it keeps going like this, I don't think there's any call to action. Yeah, it has been a peaceful protest until maybe push comes to shove. Then maybe we'll start or they will start. I won't put myself amongst it because we are indoors. They are on the street.
Yeah, so I actually agree that a protest is actually a solution to end this economic hardship and everything Nigerians are going through. Someone had humorously tweeted that very soon Nigeria is going to be a place of punishment. Like the judge overseas is going to be like, I sentence you to 3 years in Nigeria because of everything that's been happening so far. But if we check our country in the past 9 years, we discovered that there has been protest after protest. Drawing from the NSAS protest, this was against police brutality. People all over the country, even in diaspora, has united in the fight against police brutality, extortion, and extrajudicial killings. But we still found that even after the NSAS, things have only gotten worse. There are still killings, there are still high rates of kidnaps. So it's actually very, very difficult to say if a protest is the way out of whatever we are going through as a country now. And you discover also that there are some persons who are actually out there just to hijack this protest. They have turned it as an avenue to loot and vandalize public places too. So that also, I think, is a factor that should be considered. I do not dispute the fact that a protest actually is also more like a spontaneous response to oppression and suppression. Because when the citizens, a man naturally, when you are pushed to the wall so much that you don't have any option left, you would protest. It's in it to revolutionize. I think that's what Nigerians are doing right now.
No, you said something about the police brutality, and you said you felt like after everything it got worse. For me, I feel like it got better because it was during that period that they created helplines that if you see something, you say something concerning the police reforms and all, where if you are being harassed by a police officer, you can take pictures or report such case to this. I think somebody who then on Twitter, where like you take pictures, you send it to them, and then we have been seeing cases of where publicly they have been like said they dismissed this officer because of he harassed this or he was involved in bribery. So that is actually part of the reforms that we were asking for. So it might not start immediately, but we're seeing changes. Do you understand? So the protest was what brought about this drastic change. It's not yet efficient, but it's working for now.
And speaking about dialogue, the first question you should ask is, would this administration listen to these people? Because you can see from the tenor of things, before the protest started, it has been announced on social media the date for the protest, and you could see the movement of the government trying to silence these people, speaking about leaderless people sponsoring the protest. These people do not listen. They do not care what you are going through. Nigerians are suffering. People are going through a lot, and they are saying protest is being sponsored by leaderless, faceless people. They do not hear you. So there's nothing about dialogue. You have to take action for this administration to do something. And I believe this protest is going to lead to something better, if not a long-lasting change, but at least something we can all hope on and be relieved in ourselves.
We pray for a better Nigeria. That's the agitation of everywhere, meaning Nigerian. And I still say that we cannot deny the fact that there are some underdogs who have decided to utilize this protest to achieve political aims or goals. We have trade.
It has happened actually, because even the NSAS too, there were people that used it to gain popularity, and right now they are in government seats. So there are definitely people that will leech onto any given opportunity to boost. But you shouldn't like take mind of those people, because you are fighting for Nigeria, you're fighting for your future. So whatever happens, we know those that are genuine, and then are not even giving faces to them at all.
Okay. Yeah, that was actually very, very insightful. I think Nigerians, we should watch out more for our unity, regardless of region, religion, or tribe. That's what's very, very important to us at this means. If the government is going to listen to us, because they've already started tagging protesters as leaderless, faceless people, right? Yeah. So I think if we are united, we are unified in our struggle, our voice will be amplified. Okay, look at this protest. Now you discover that some persons don't even know what this is about. Now, talking about the aftermath of the NSAS, you discover that some persons are not even aware that they have such a right to report police brutality after the NSAS. And we still have cases of extortion and extrajudicial killings going on every day, and even kidnapping. So I actually agree that the protests had its good sides, but then we cannot also deny that during that protest, lives were lost.
Yeah.
Lives were lost, and that is irredeemably so.
I think one of the requests or things that are requesting from the government is the release of those that were arrested. There are still people that from the NSAS protest that were arrested and still in jail till date. So yeah, they are still there. Yeah. So maybe definitely the process is what is needed for me. I won't speak for any other person, but if they say a father that doesn't want to listen to the child, one day the child will stand up and say, the dad will ask that, do you want to fight me? Do you want to beat me? So maybe that's what Nigeria is doing to its father now.
And not like I'm supporting violence, but it's not advisable for protesters. Yes, we want to protest against bad government, but going on to vandalize your fellow citizens, you're actually making matters worse. Mostly, if you want to show your grievances, why not locate these politicians and mete out these things to them instead? vandalizing the citizens, their shops, their homes.
Are you talking about the Kanu incident?
Yes.
No, that I think the Kanu destiny was a government destiny. I might be wrong, but I feel the NCC is a government destiny.
What about
right?
the NCT or whatever?
It's a government building,
That was
right?
meant for. They said it was
But
meant
but
for citizens.
but listen,
This protest was supposed to be
it's a peaceful protest. So I don't know what the Kanu people are doing.
supposed to be
I don't know what the
peaceful,
Kanu people are doing, but I believe they're not part of
It's supposed to be
the
peaceful,
protest.
but one thing is Nigeria is a violent country. We all know this. They do not listen to peace. It's a violent country. And the Bible says,
Sorry,
right
I
from the
oppose
days
that.
of
Nigeria is not a violent country. You won't say that. As a patriotic citizen, you don't say your country is actually a violent country. This all protests and dialogue stuff that you've been debating on. In studying political science, of which is a course I'm studying right now, we have certain terminologies and terms we use to address certain questions. And in understanding the dynamic between protest and dialogue in Nigeria political landscape, we can actually see it through the lens of a very renowned theory. And you can call that theory the contentious politics, theory of contentious politics. We have various theories that we can actually use to prove whether we need protest or dialogue in Nigeria. But me personally, I haven't gone through the old theories in political science. I would actually prefer using contentious politics to back up the claim if we need protest or we need dialogue.
So how do you justify the happenings of 2020 NSAS protest? The people that were sent to shoot at unarmed protesters protesting
Do
peacefully,
not argue
which
blindly. If you're trying to justify a particular topic, you use it with logical fact.
we're speaking of logical facts in the sense that not everybody is going to go for logical facts. These people are speaking based on their feelings at the moment, what they are going through at the moment. Nobody is going to go through all that process to try to get their voices heard. And Nigerians have done a lot. They have been complaining on social media. Everywhere they can complain. Nobody has been listening. Have you heard what the Senate president said, Mr. Akpabio? He said the fools, he called Nigerians fools. He said they can go on to protest. Why they be eating? How do you justify that kind of a statement on national television? Does it show these people are ready to dialogue with you? No, they are not ready.
We also know that a hungry man is an angry man. So you don't blame a dog for barking when it is hungry. You starve the dog of food, then you play games with it, or you beat a child. The child cries, and you blame the child for crying. That's against the law of nature.
Can I ask one simple question? Justifying this topic, what theoretical framework do you have to justify this?
Listen, in Nigeria, yeah.
It's not in Nigeria.
In Nigeria, no. Listen,
Find any topic that has to do with politics or a state, you need a theoretical framework. Let me land.
okay.
Why I say you need a theoretical framework in justifying any question, this is a question that actually has to do with my field of studies. You understand? We all have seen the practical aspect of politics, but me studying the theoretical aspect of politics, I would say I'm a bit knowledgeable about certain terms in politics. You cannot just say because somebody stood up in the morning and made a claim justifies anything. You understand? Why I was making on the theoretical framework is because I have certain facts to use to back up this theoretical framework. Protest, there's something in politics. Okay, this theory I was talking about was actually propounded by two scholars, Charles Willie and Sidney Taro. You understand? So the theory actually posits that for how am I even going to put it? Okay, should I expatiate more in a layman's language? Let me not use political.
Good. You said
Exactly.
layman's language.
Exactly.
You said layman's language. Let me tell you something.
Allow me land. We are not supposed to.
Let me say something. No. Let me say something. You said in the layman's language, yeah. Not a lot of Nigerians here are into politics. Believe me, if not because of we had somebody like PO the last time coming out to say he wants to have a go at the seat for presidency, but not a lot of Nigerians would have actually gone out to get their voters card or wanted to vote. It's because we thought we saw the light in Peter Obi. Do you understand? So in a layman's language, nobody is interested in politics. There's political apathy in everybody because at the end of the day, it's those that are in power that will see put the next person that is going to run. Do you understand? So what I'm saying is, all these things you are explaining about theories and all, so people are hungry. You can't see somebody say and telling them you want to explain theories. They might even, a mob will rush you. What are you explaining? No, it's facts. Because you listen, let's use this. You are going to Kano now, where they did that, the vandalization. You are telling them that stop, theory states this and that. You probably might not even work out their life. So Nigerians now, they need, even if they want to listen to somebody, it's somebody who, like, let's say PO now, he is always like on his Twitter and his handles, he's always talking about peaceful protests and all that stuff. This is somebody that they might listen to. And then what he himself is not against the protest. He's saying peaceful because there's hunger in the land. And the hunger is because of what? You removed fuel subsidy. And the economy is run by transportation because if you increase fuel, like there was a time we were buying fuel at 300, where you could use 25,000 or less to fuel your full tank. But now you are using 40, 50,000 to fuel your tank, and you even use it like in a full week. Now the same you that you bought this 50k, you are transporting goods from Sokoto or Kano down to the northeast. There's inflation. You have to add because you need to get your money's worth back.
Imagine going to a woman in the market selling peas to make ends meet, and you're trying to like bring theories to her, telling her to go in this certain way when she knows there's a way she can be heard faster. Nobody is going to waste time with theories.
I'm not going to the market to tell anybody about theories. I will not go to the market and start stating theories to anybody. But in logical sense, we're having a conversation and I have theories to back up the claim that neither protest nor dialogue is beneficial to Nigeria. But the thing is, the two has to work pari passu with each other in order for Nigeria to be a better country. If you need revolution in Nigeria, you need a little bit of protest and a little bit of dialogue. A country cannot be too peaceful and it should not be too violent. You understand? There needs to be a little bit peacefulness in the country. And then, there needs to be a balance between the two. That was where I was actually heading to. There needs to be a balance within the two because this protest is actually creating awareness and mobilizing the citizens about the happenings in the government. But without proper channel of dialogue, it's actually not going to lead into any positive solutions. Because at the end of the day, this protest will lead to violence and it will lead to death of many people. If you want to even talk about death of many people, you can talk about the happenings of NSAS in 2020. You can talk about the Niger Delta agitation, which has been happening for over decades. You can also talk about the one in 1980s and 1990s. You can actually give reference to those ones. Even the Aba women riot. Coming outside naked to protest is still not going to lead to anything.
You know, speaking about balance, I think for the day 1, 2, 3, this is actually a phase of protesting and dialoguing. It's a means. Social media carries this protest and these politicians are seeing it. It's peaceful for now because these people should see it as a way of dialogue. They should see it that we are trying to say something and they should respond accordingly. But when they do not do this, this is when this protest will lead from now till something worse that we cannot be able to have.
Whether you kill anybody from now to December, it is not still going to bring any positive change. So why the need to kill people and be violent?
It is actually very disheartening, our leaders' reactions to the uproar ongoing in the country, because it seems at the end of the day that Nigerians are just pawns on the chessboard of our political leaders. Because why are we agitating and you are not concerned? Why are we buying these things far above our means and it's not a problem to you? People have tried to reach out in earlier times. I think earlier this year there was about a dialogue and it was fruitless. We had the confab dialogue in 2012 when Goodluck Jonathan was president. He had actually increased the price of fuel from 85 naira to 165 naira per liter, I think. But we started with the hashtag Occupy Nigeria. This protest, this dialogue was actually spearheaded by notable political and academic figures in the country. So even after 18 days, this dialogue went, the president had to succumb. He listened to them and the price of fuel was now reverted. So we see that, when this government came into power, the first thing it did was the removal of fuel subsidy. You realize that most people did not even understand what it meant by the removal of fuel subsidy. Yeah. So we're actually very excited that, yes, the change maker, the country builder has come. So it went on that it was the exact opposite of what we thought he was going to do. Now, this leads to us agreeing that the major problem in the country is actually illiteracy. Yes, Nigerians, the illiteracy. Because talking about this present protest that is going on, there's a video circulating social media where the man, he was carrying the no protest banner. So when they asked him, why are you out? Why are you advocating for... They call me Why are you advocating for a no protest? And he started crying. That how can we be buying a bag of rice for over 90K? Meaning that he didn't even know why he was outside. So if Nigerians can balance a protest and a dialogue together, I think we can actually achieve the goal we have in mind. And that has a lot to do with sensitization and the creation of awareness amongst citizens. Because you see that there are some states which are not joining in the protest because our governor is doing well. No reference to any particular states.
No, but we know the stage you're talking about, but their own case is different. They are not doing that because their governor is doing well. No, they won't, they have something different. I think they were going online and saying no. Should I call names? But they say something about no Igbo, no. Okay, this certain tribe shouldn't do protests because when they were coming out, they were saying they're involved in bigotry. They're being tribalistic. So now everybody should believe in their manifesto, their agbado and all this stuff. So that is why I think they were attacked on Twitter, but they said no, they have their own reasons of doing this.
The whole scenario is so funny. If for most of us that stay in Lagos, it's more like you are in the market and you see people running due to this illiteracy. You see people running. You don't know why this particular person is running. If they ask you now, you say, I am running because this person is running.
No, but as
most people do in this protest.
As a Nigerian, if you see somebody running, run. If you see somebody running, run first before you ask questions.
You run before you ask questions.
Run before you ask.
What if you run to your death?
No, you run to the direction they are running to. Because we have cases of they're chasing after guys in the streets. You understand? And then you are on your own. And somebody will just say he was part of them. Police no go 1 year say I no deal. They will put you in the van.
That is the police brutality that actually led to EndSARS protests.
Speaking about removal of fuel subsidy, would you say it was the best decision this administration has done? Because removal of fuel subsidy has made the prices of things to inflate. Imagine minimum wage being 70,000 naira. Because they recently brought it.
Have they started paying it? They have not started. It hasn't been passed yet. You know, the argument with the minimum, the fuel subsidy was that Peter Obi said something of the same, that he would remove fuel subsidy, but he also gave us means or ways things he was going to do before the removal of fuel subsidy. You understand? Our president.
No, I would say something like he actually stole the idea, but he does not know how to implement that idea. Like he stole the idea, but how to implement it? When you see an original owner of an idea, you will know. Like imagine George has an idea. He talked about sewing a particular cloth, and me, I copied the design, but I cannot get the exact design. That is just how it is. So the means and ways by which it was supposed to implement the stolen idea, like the infamous president stole idea from another infamous president. I'm not going to call names so that nobody will come for me. I won't call names. But if you have to come for me, you can come for me. I don't care.
In as much as we are talking about this administration, let's also talk about us, the citizens of this country, because we are the cause of our problem. Imagine prices have gone up. Okay, you said prices have gone up. You didn't buy new products, but you are implementing the same price on those old products. Now, when those prices went down, you refuse to bring it down because you have not finished selling the ones that are already in stock.
I would say it is greed.
That's greed.
It is greed. Greed is one of our major problems in this country. It is greed.
Is it great?
Because why will you not buy a new product because you have some in stock? You cannot sell for that particular price before going to the market to purchase. You want to gain more.
Why I agree that it is greed, but I would still want to differ on some other terms because I bought a bag of rice previously at 40,000 naira. I'm supposed to sell at 50,000 naira and make the gain of 10,000 naira on it. Now, the market value of rice is now at 90,000 naira per bag. So if I still sell at 90,000 naira,
For 50.
if I still sell at 50,000 naira,
Yeah.
where do I get the money to replenish my stock?
That's the argument that they have. The argument they have is that if they sell it at that, they can't be able to buy two more or
Buy others to sell again.
I feel we should also be considerate too.
Yeah.
We should be considerate because the economy is not favoring anybody. It's not pleasant. There are certain families that they do not eat 3 square meals. Some go on 001.
like me now.
In everything, I always talk about compassion. As a human being, you have to be compassionate about your fellow human being because the same thing you are going through is the same thing this person is going through. You are inflating prices on your fellow layman. How do you expect him to be able to afford it? And how do you expect to make it? Most people just give up at the end of the day and say they will not kill themselves.
Even Gary will be Gary, no be poor man food again. No? Like you cannot, there's nothing you want to tell me. Gary will be Gary, no be poor man food. You imagine a cup of Gary will buy for 10 naira. A cup of Gary should be ranging how much now? Is it 50 or 100 naira?
Our problem started when people started calling it
The cassava flakes.
Why?
Is it cassava flakes or groceries?
Why do you call Gary groceries?
In this economy, before
I was not paid until they increased the price of.
Before you hold like 200, you are able to soak Gary and drink. I held 1,000 naira and I could not buy Gary and take with Haba. What's happening?
Floating berries
And sweeteners and caramels and everything.
No, most of those things are what we do to actually like give ourselves a little bit of joy.
Yeah,
let's not be affected by what's currently happening. So Nigerians are cruise like
The sweet thing about this conversation we're having now.
what?
The sweet thing about this conversation we're having now is every point you are giving, it's coming down to that contentious politics I was talking about. That was what the theory actually posits. Like if you understand what that theory posits, you will see that everything you are saying comes under that theory right now. There's something we call in political science, we call it the carrot and stick method. If we apply carrot and stick method, okay, I will explain it. Carrot method is the soft way, which will represent the dialogue, while the stick method is the hard way, which is going to represent the protest. But at times, we Nigerians, I would say, when it comes to protest, we do not use our initiative properly. In carrying out protest, we need to, for you to carry out a plan, you need to strategically sit and plan out a particular protest before you carry. There need to be strategic planning. You understand? You cannot just wake up one morning and start protest without planning, because if you do not plan, the government, they will plan.
But we didn't. They didn't plan this
They
protest.
did not plan this protest.
This protest is actually a planned protest. You know why?
Peaceful protest.
This protest is actually a planned protest because it has been.
Let me state the fact. I read in the news yesterday about 7 buses was burnt in Yobe State. This is not a peaceful protest the way we think. Hundreds of people, even in Abuja, they lost life.
Yeah, peaceful. Peaceful is what we are not going to call it, but planned is what we actually call it because it had been planned, which is why it gave the government the time to mobilize those security agencies they mobilized in different states. If it was not planned, it would have taken them by surprise. You wouldn't see those security agencies on the road waiting for protesters
Was
to.
NSAS protest planned?
Yes.
It was not.
NSAS.
Yes.
It was.
It was planned.
It was.
Okay, good.
Now let's listen. You said something. Wait. You said something about 6 buses burnt down. Let's use the NSAS protest as.
I want to ask a question before you use it as a reference.
Okay.
You said it was a planned protest. Were they expecting the outcome of that protest? Was the outcome of the protest, were they expecting it?
In what way? The killings or?
Yeah, the killings and everything. Were they expecting the government to go behind and start killing innocent individuals?
You go for. It was a peaceful protest. Yeah, nobody will go for a peaceful walk and then expect its own government that you are giving and you are paying.
That is why I said, whenever we are planning something, in as much as we are thinking about the positive outcome, we should also think and reflect on the negative outcome. When we are open to things, they will know how to.
If it was planned, they would have still paid security agencies to come and watch over them, because it was the same people that you are paid to protect you at night when you sleep that still came out at that same night to shoot them.
Said we Nigerians were the problem of ourselves, because why we. Okay, just imagine during this election and everything, it's the people that are, all those thugs that are killing people, snatching ballot boxes, are they not Nigerians? They are Nigerians. They were used. That was because they were not enlightened.
Now, thank God you said something about thugs and all. Do you think the same government that sent out thugs at NSAS, sent out thugs at election, still won't send out people to come and say it's no longer a peaceful protest?
Send out talks. That is what we are supposed to know. We are supposed to be expecting the worst.
You know,
there are some things you're not supposed to say online to not agitate anything. There are some things we're not supposed to say online to agitate something.
One thing about this administration is we definitely know if they wanted to, they would do it.
Definitely.
Can you imagine that within 3 days of this protest, they have made some changes which fell under just 73 hours. And these people have been complaining for over a year with no changes at all.
Speech?
Yeah.
Did you watch it?
Did you hear his speech?
I watched it and oh my god, it was Did you watch it?
Did you watch your president?
I watched.
It was insightful. It was insightful. The same one that he gave us his manifesto.
Dialogue was encouraging. Yeah, we understand what he said.
Exactly.
The same Agbado's speech, is it for court?
So whatever these people are doing now is definitely medicine after death, because at the end of the day, they might, after the protest, they might still go back to do what they want to do. We are like pawns in these people's game, chessboard, and they will control us. One thing about Nigeria is its citizens are its power. But with the citizens, we don't realize the power we hold. We give these people the chance to manipulate and downplay us a lot.
That there is no proper political communication, and if there were proper political communication and we citizens are being enlightened about our rights as individuals, nobody is going to trample on our right. Look at other countries, other Western countries that know their rights. All these things don't happen there. Not like they don't have protests or anything, but their protests, they protest with sense.
But we definitely know that Nigerians know their rights. But does this government recognize your right as a Nigerian? It does not. It doesn't even respect your rights, because imagine a policeman telling you, I will do this to you, and you have nothing to do about it when you know your rights are in the Constitution.
Let's not imagine, Fat. There's one particular state, I won't call names, that is restricting its people, these people to move around 12.
Yes.
12. Once it's 12, you're supposed to be in your house. And I'm like,
The
okay.
ones that on Mondays they don't go out because of coffee.
I'm like, okay. Yeah, stay at home. Stay at home.
We've
So,
had really academic and scholarly discussions here, and I can see that we are actually coming to agreements. We've actually disagreed to agree on some certain key elements or factors gingering or triggering this protest. We recognize that there's division, sectionalism, and then there are still some persons who are taking advantage of this protest to score cheap political points. And then we also recognize that the government of the country perhaps do not have any respect to the agitations of the citizenry, because if they had the actions government, I cannot really point at a basic or really sustainable action taken by the government to mitigate the economic hardship. We are not protesting for protesting, and we are not dialoguing for dialoguing. It's not because Nigerians know how to speak English or they are educated that they are coming. It's not because we are strong or we are agile that we want to protest. We are protesting because we have a goal in mind. We want a better Nigeria. We want a safe country. We want a country that is devoid of electoral malpractice and fraud. We want a transparent judiciary. We want a transparent electoral processes. What happens to a government transmitting electoral results online? What happens to creating more job opportunities, employing more youths, and then making government policies that are friendly to the people? What about putting the needs of Nigeria first? It was Abraham Lincoln that said it has to get to a time where Americans stop thinking about what their country can do for them and what they can do for their country. Yeah. But in Nigeria, I assure you, Nigeria has to, the government, in that definition of government that says it is a machinery set to administer the affairs of the people. It is time that same Nigeria start asking itself, what can I do for Nigerians? Because Nigerians, honestly, we have done so much for Nigeria. We have, like, we've endured, we've borne the brunt of leadership, like despotic leadership threats, and we need a change.
We need change. But as the change started with you, as that change started with you, for you to.
But it has now. We went out to vote.
How?
We went out to vote. We went out to
Most
vote.
of us did not have voters card.
Nobody wanted. Yes.
We did not have.
But that's the change.
When it came in view, we all went out to vote. We changed. They changed something alone in us.
Change is not about voting.
No, but it starts somewhere.
But you know this government. You know this government can do better.
Our strongest voice as citizens is our votes. It's not even in the dialogue or the protest. No, I voted Peter.
Why will you tell somebody who you voted? Don't tell anybody who you voted.
You know the government can do better because instead of giving students loans, why not give them?
We voted who we wanted. Yes. That's why we are agitating for transparent electoral processes.
So you went to vote for Agbado and Cassava?
I voted the person whose competence was not in question.
Ask me that how do you know if maybe your vote would have been the change? Me, I know that even if I vote or not, these people will still do what they want to do. They will still do what they want to do. Even with the millions of votes that were evident, it was very evident that the other infamous party were going to win. But you know, these people still did what they wanted to do right in the faces of Nigerians, and we had nothing to do about it.
That's why we are agitating for transparency. This protest is not just about food. It includes the whole system.
A child playing with the tail of a lion. That was the old thing that played in this politics of 2023 election. A child playing with the tail of the lion, and you expect the lion not to
retaliate.
So wait, who's the lion? Who's the lion here now?
You're not going to put words in my mouth.
Who's the lion? Wait, who's the lion here?
Put words in my mouth. I am responsible for. I say, and I will say it with my full chest, I am responsible for what I say, not what you understand. You will not put words in my mouth. I am not going to mention him, the infamous president and the infamous presidential aspirant, as the case may be. the child and the lion.
You know who the lion is. We also know.
Obviously, you should know, but you will not put words in my mouth.
At the end of the day, we really pray that this protest is like these people hear us and at least come to our aid. We're not asking for everything to be done in one day, but at least start from where our hearts will be calm. We'll go back to our homes and say, okay, fine, the government are going to take care of us. We'll be sure that these people are going to do something for us. But
And I also think that we should protest logically, because there's a saying that says too much of one thing is good for nothing. In as much as we want to protest, we should give room for government. We should channel the room for more dialogue, because if we pick a little bit of protest, the protest we are doing, we are creating that awareness and mobilizing citizens to know that what this government they are doing is actually wrong. You understand? And when we create that more awareness to this government, and they tend to realize that if their government are quite intellectual upstairs, maybe their IQ is actually functioning. I'm not saying anything. I'm not referring to anybody in particular. But if this government have a little bit of human conscience or empathy, they should know that it is time to apply the carrot method. And by applying so, I think Nigeria will be much better in doing that.
Thank you so much for that wonderful submission. And then another question that talks on our heart is the government genuine? Are its efforts to end the protest sham? Is it an end in itself or a means to an end? Because the minimum wage has been increased. Now, people...
there's something that said, no be church. Men are
show workings.
You can't even tell if their actions are genuine, because even during the process of increasing minimum wage, they were so reluctant to add something to these people's salaries, and they were so reluctant.
The wage has not been implemented.
It hasn't. Some people are even saying they cannot be paying their staffs, their drivers 70,000 naira. We are the problems of ourselves.
So the way it is now, I think the question boils down to sustainability. What the government is doing, is it sustainable? Okay, you are increasing minimum wage. So after increasing minimum wage, and I still buy fuel for as high as 800 naira, or how much is left from me from my salary? And then the prices of other things are still hiked. I'm paying high electricity bills, overtaxing, and every other thing that a Nigerian is going through. So and then government is reaching out, is giving people, I don't know, but people are receiving money. They are receiving 500 naira. They are receiving T-shirts and cap. So the viewers know what that meant.
Do you know the funny part? The funny part is we Nigerians will complain. We'll complain down to our bones. But when it's time for election, they give you one cup of rice and one Maggi. You will collect that. You will still vote.
A social media influencer was saying something. He said, if a man goes to the house of a prominent person or to the government, okay, and then the allocation to your community is 1 trillion naira, and then they give you the option. Do you take 1 trillion naira for the community or 1 million for yourself? A typical Nigerian will go for 1 million, because I don't know what is in 1 trillion for myself. That is just what is happening in the country. And then it can be likened to two brothers also. You are entitled to a bag of rice. I don't know, we've been talking about rice so much.
The rice is actually the thing, because it's quite expensive. You cannot eat rice in this economy.
Basically, I think one of the request of Nigerians is to bring back subsidy. Why not this administration bring back subsidy and take enough time to evaluate its policies and ways it would help before implementing this removal of subsidy, because the immediate removal of subsidy is the cause of every problem we are facing now. So the best thing they could do is bring it back for now, which should give a little calm to the happenings, and then re-strategize. By the time they remove it, everything will be in place and we'll all be all right.
Exactly. I hope so too, because this situation is just like two brothers going to somebody and asking, let me have our bag of rice. Then the house owner comes, gives one of them a cup of rice. Then the other brother turns to another and say, this house owner is trying, let's give them time, and we go. I think that is what is happening to protesters. But we are hoping, we are imploring the government to listen to Nigerians. Okay, so
but do you think the government will listen to us? Because this whole scenario actually happened in 2020 during the NSAS protest and all, where the government, they actually came under the umbrella that they were going to stop the brutality of this special anti-robbery squad, that they are going to stop the brutality. But at the end of the day, what did they do? They in turn started killing innocent. They even asked armed men to kill innocent civilians.
So that is what we are trying to correct. Government is supposed to be a democracy, is supposed to be a government of the people, for the people, and by the people. And that is all we are agitating for, protest or dialogue. Because if you check the trends in Nigerian politics and the protests we've had so far, some actually yielded results, others did not. So the two of them are supposed to go in hand. We're supposed to strike an equilibrium between the protest and the dialogue. Let both of them go hand in hand, because we are not animals. We are civilized people.